and welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the differences between prom in the UK and the USA.
Yes.
Thank you, goodbye.
The end.
Yes, I think they're a bigger thing over here in the US.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was surprised to learn that you all had prom in Britain.
It's a relatively new thing, because, proms and stuff, they were born out of the debutante balls of the 19th century.
Of yesteryear.
The debutante, like when a wealthy family would present their daughter or their son to society.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing happened in Britain. They would be presented to the king or the queen, and they would say, "He is now out and available,
available.
And she is now out and available, gentlemen."
Did they do that? They didn't do that for boys, did they?
I don't know if they did. I don't think they did it.
I think it was just for girls.
Just for girls, yeah.
Yeah.
Debutante. She's a debutante, she's just come out,
Debutante, is that how you pronounce it?
Debutante.
Debutante.
Debutante, Tante.
Yes.
That's how I say it. Debutante. Killed her, husband, whacked him.
God.
Sorry, that Carol Baskin song. That bloody Carol Baskin song.
And we haven't even seen the Tiger King.
So we don't even know if she killed her husband or whacked him. There was like a debutante.
Stop saying
debutante!
Stop saying debutante!
Dante!
Oh my god. Anyway, okay, yeah, I didn't have any idea that that's where that came from.
I presume, and then, it started in, the 1950s.
Did you read that somewhere? Or
I'm getting a lot of my information from theconversation.com, which did an article about the comparisons between the UK and the US prom,
Oh, okay.
And the differences and everything, and everything.
Right.
That what we recognize is, because we see them all in the movies,
Yeah.
What's a famous movie with the prom?
Oh, God.
There's been
Carrie.
Carrie, yes, where she goes psycho and kills everyone at their prom.
Yeah.
But there's been several, TV shows.
Yeah.
Like that 1950s style. Are you going to the prom? Are you taking Dickie?
Yeah, there's been so many things.
Because Betty wants to take Dickie, but Dickie wants to take Janet.
If you're Dickie, if you're listening,
that's what all the boys were called back in the 1950s.
If you're listening from another country that does not celebrate prom, just in case we have anyone out there that does not know what prom is. Prom is something that happens.
It's a party, mainly
in the U.S., but I guess now in most places in Britain also.
Yeah, it's become a thing. It started around 2001. It's a dance.
It's a dance.
It's a party, what we'd call a party in the UK. It's just an end of summer term party.
End of school.
Yeah.
End of school. End of
high school.
High school in America.
But they start them with everything now. They're starting to do them with primary school. They're starting to do
That's
them with...
not a prom, though. That would just be a regular school dance. Your prom is your last dance of your school career, basically.
Darling, save the last dance for me.
Yeah, it's a school dance, essentially, is what it really boils down to.
And it includes girls giving boys matching buttonholes, and there's a prom theme as well, isn't it? Isn't it? Because you have several dances like homecoming and stuff over here, which is similar to a prom.
There can be prom themes. It really depends on the school you go to and who is organizing your prom. So when I was in high school, I was on our prom committee.
Yes, there's a prom committee. Yeah.
And we, from the time we were freshmen or sophomores, started raising money for our prom. The school does not pay for your prom that I can remember. The senior class is the one that pays for their own prom. and you have a committee, or we did at our school, who decides the theme, if there's going to be a theme, the location of the prom.
And they budget and everything like that, and they collect the money for it, and they budget, and they say, okay, we can afford this limo, and we can afford this location.
Right. So we did, like, car washes to raise money.
At the car wash.
Yes, everything's a song to
Yes.
you. We did car washes, like, we would just set up in a parking lot and have signs, you know, come have your car washed. I can't remember
for like $10 a piece,
I can't remember
or what?
if we
$10
if
a
we
car?
had a set amount that we charged them. We
You
must
must have
have. But
and you must have had a goal to raise this amount of money to pay for whatever.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, our prom committee started, you know, some senior classes don't start until senior year, but my prom committee started like sophomore year raising money. We had a lot of money to make
the
our
prom kind of tradition and everything is set in school over here. When I was in school, the first prom, my high school that I went to, that was the first prom. Our year was the very first one.
The first prom that was ever held.
And, you know, when I looked up, it only started to occur in the UK in around 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
So, like, at the turn of the century. I can't believe I'm saying that. Turn of the century, that kind of thing started for some reason. And I remember, you know, I was about 15, 16, so that was our leaving age.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like, oh, let's have a prom this year. And we convinced our head of year to do it.
Probably it had something to do with the millennium. If it was started in 2000, you know, everybody put so much emphasis on the fact that it was turning into a new millennium. Everybody wanted to have parties for every little thing. Oh, we're going to be the first graduating class of this new millennium, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it probably had something to do with that. Like, oh yeah, we're in school at the turn of the millennium, so let's have a prom this year to like really celebrate.
Our prom was 2002, I think. Anyways, anyone who went to school with me, who knows me,
Dominic,
remembers what year our prom was. I never went to it though. I mean, me and a few other people, we didn't go to it. You know.
Yeah.
I believe there was a committee. I believe there was a prom king and queen. I had a few friends who went to it and said it was a bit of a shambles.
Oh, no.
You know, because it was the first one, you know, so there was going to be teething troubles. I remember it was held in Swansea at this, like, and they'd reserved a hall, and they had people arriving to the school in limos.
Yeah.
But they were all, no, we're all going to get on a bus and go up there. That's what's happening. I remember our head of year was saying that to us. Whoever's coming to the prom, we need to come to the thing. And we went down there to see them off. I don't know why. Why we all decided, we'll go down and see them off. You know?
And then you didn't go to the prom. That's really sad.
Well, we didn't pay for it. You know, I can't remember. I think it was like $20 a head or something. Or £20. I can't remember how much it was.
What? To ride the bus or what?
Well, just like costs. Anyone who wanted to go to the prom had to pay for like food and drink and whatever, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, we didn't have that because that's what we were raising money for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it happened. I can't remember who was on the committee, if they had a committee or whatever, but I remember there was a prom king and queen, what they said, and it was a bit of a shambles because they turned up late to the prom, and they were like, oh, he was crowned prom king, and
he wasn't even here.
He wasn't even here for most of it, and whatever. Yeah, as I remember, people were saying it was a bit of a shambles. And people were turning up in limos to the school so they could get on the bus and go to Swansea. They weren't even going to the place in the limo. They were just hiring a limo.
Riding a limo to the bus.
Yes, it was just ridiculous. Of course, they had all the dresses and the bow ties and stuff and the tuxedos and stuff. And it just wasn't really my scene. I thought it was a bit silly role, really, you know.
Well, aren't you a stick in the mud?
But that having been said, now if I was invited to a prom now, I'd probably go just to see what it was like.
Oh my god!
Because I miss my own prom. You will tell us about your prom.
My prom,
you went to 200 of them, didn't you?
I went to 2 proms because prom in America. Well, was it like that in Britain? Was it just the like graduating class?
Yes. Yeah, it was just their year.
Mm-hmm.
Our year.
Yeah, so it's the same thing over here. It's just for the senior class. So when I was but you can invite anybody from any year. You can invite somebody who's graduated. You can come with your mom. You can come with your sibling. Whatever. And so when I was a junior, I got invited to the senior prom, and so I went. Yeah. I went to their prom. I had several friends in that year, and
you were allowed to go.
Yeah,
because I think it was like a strict thing in our year. It was like it's only our year. You can't invite, because everybody was like, "Will you go to the prom with me?" It was like one of those things, And I can't remember if I was ever invited by anyone or anything like that. Because I remember a couple of girls said to me later on, "Oh, well, I would have gone with you if you were going, but if you weren't going, so I went with some friends, like girls, we all went together." And there was then there was like boys who were asking girls from like the year below.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he was like, no, you weren't allowed to take them.
Oh, no. Yeah, you can do that. You can invite kids from other schools. You could invite...
As I remember, anyway. I might be remembering wrong.
You could invite your boyfriend who's already in college. It's like... Yeah. You can come with whoever. You can come by yourself. You can come with...
Yeah, because a few of the girls in my year had boyfriends who weren't in school anymore.
Yeah,
they were considerably older. They were a few years older. Considerably older. And they were obviously weren't allowed to go to prom with them.
Yeah,
and so that's why they were like, I'll just go with you and to stop all the other boys or whatever.
A good friend of mine had a boyfriend that was a couple of years older, and he was already in college, and he came, I always think, like, if I was already in college, would I want to go to a high school prom? I don't think I would.
I mean, it's like me going to a high school prom now. It's
well, now, no.
Imagine me rolling up there in my wheelchair,
You could be a dad. You could be the dad.
I could be the chaperone. I could be the dad. Yeah, at this point.
But yeah, I mean, from my senior prom, then when I was a junior, I was not dating the guy who asked me. I was just friends. And then my senior year, I just went with a friend also. He did get us a car, though. As a present. I can't remember.
You told me something about a monster truck.
Oh, God, that was when I was a junior. Yeah, that was to the other.
That wasn't prom. That was to the other prom.
Oh my God, yeah, that was a monster truck. That was not my prom.
It should have a little elevator to get into.
It was a step stool. You guys, this is the worst prom story ever because there was no. He picked me up in this giant. He was this guy. Like, we were friends, but we were kind of even just passing friends. And he invited me to prom. I was like, my best friend had also been invited, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go to prom. But then he picks me up in this, like, monster truck with these huge tires. And I had to have a step stool, like a little miniature step ladder to get into the truck. It was not a truck. It was, like, some kind of SUV. Like a Bronco, maybe? I can't remember what it was.
But it had massive wheels.
It had huge tires, yeah. And then there was no air conditioning. I had my makeup, I had my hair all up and everything, because when I was in prom, the style was like long, like
flowy
princess ball gowns.
That's the thing with like Scottish proms, apparently, because I think they're a big thing in Scotland now too. Mm-hmm. They're more like weddings than actual proms.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, like they're kind of like everybody's looking at what you're wearing and whatever, and I mean, it's more kind of like a wedding type situation.
I have seen, though, there was...
but no one's getting married.
I don't know if it's still the trend, but for a while after my prom, because my prom, like, everybody had a long kind of ball gown type dress on, but for several years after I graduated, it was the style to go with more like, just like, to me, it looked more like party dresses, like they're shorter dresses, more like almost even clubbing kind of stuff. Like when I was in school, I mean, not to like date myself, but it was a very formal occasion. Like the guy was wearing a tux.
Yeah, it was formal. When mine was, as I remember.
And the girls wore like basically like
ball
long
gowns,
floor length gowns. Yeah. But I have seen younger generations. I don't know what the style is now, but so I think it changes over time, because I know I've seen like in movies like Pretty in Pink or something like that, which I can't remember if that's a prom or if it's just a dance, but people are wearing, like in the 80s, the style was more like shorter dresses and stuff like that. So I think it just goes up and down. Do you guys do the corsage?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't know if we do or not now.
I mean, in your research, did it say?
I mean, really, what happens, it's kind of contentious as to how a prom, as I remember, there was kind of like a talk of like, how are you going to do this prom? It's like, it's going to be like prom, like, what we've seen in the movies, in American films. We want that kind of thing, And then other people were like, oh, no, I don't think we should do it like that. We should do our own kind of national identity. Like, for example, in Scotland, it's traditional dress, and they wear kilts and Scottish country dancing.
Really?
Yeah.
They do Scottish country dancing, like the Highland Fling.
Like the Highland Fling and stuff at these
awesome.
proms, yeah. And, like the boys will turn up in their, like, tuxedo, but they'll be wearing a kilt,
Yeah.
And, so they'll have that, that you wouldn't find that at an American prom, would you?
No.
Imagine trying to get into a monster truck in a kilt.
Oh my god.
You'd love it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like it's, people try and do like, oh, this is an American, that if their theme was if they had a theme, I'd guess it would like be an American theme where they do it like,
oh yeah,
like that,
We didn't have a theme, I know what you're talking about. Like in the movies, they do like an underwater
Enchanted
theme
Under the Sea dance. What was that from? Was that Back to the Future or?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think
Taking Me to the Enchanted Under the Sea dance, or the theme for this thing is.
There was no theme. I cannot remember a theme at all. Yeah, no, I really don't remember. What we did in my school, we saved up like so much money that we were like, okay, we've got a ton of money here. We can really rent out like
really push the boat out.
We can rent out a really good place, because I had been to the prom the previous year and they were just like in a Hyatt kind of ballroom, a Hyatt hotel.
Hyatt hotel, right?
Which was okay, but it was like absolutely nothing special. It could have been anywhere. We could
because I mean,
we could have just been in the gym at school. Like it was just very generic.
I mean, in Scotland and Wales and England, I guess, if you happen to have the money and you want your prom to, and the place is going to do it, you could conceivably rent a castle.
Oh, yeah.
To go to do your prom in,
So, I don't know, the Driscoll Hotel downtown.
It's the oldest hotel
on
in
6th
Austin,
Street, yeah. It's the oldest hotel. It's very, very cool on the outside. It's got a lot of history. It's very ornate outside and inside. It's a very expensive hotel. It's right in the middle of downtown.
Yeah.
That's where we had our prom. And when we booked it, they were like, oh, I don't know, because they didn't normally do that many proms.
Yeah.
Because they're quite an upscale.
Yeah, they don't want
hotel.
a load of kids.
Yeah, well, they have celebrity clients, and, it's just kind of like, they were a little bit iffy, but, we had the money. We were like, come on, please. Like, we really want to, like, we're the class of, this is the new millennium. We're the class of 2000, or, you all know my age now.
Class of 2000 and, 2013.
And, so they were like, all right, you guys can have it here, and then we're never going to let any other
never having any prom ever again.
They did.
We're
They
actually
said
abolishing prom. We're getting federal law
no, they said
to abolish prom.
They said that, and then the joke became like, oh, it was because we were so terrible that they were like, oh, we're never having another prom. But they said it before we held the prom, so. But we were like, yeah, we're going to be the last school to ever have their prom here. Yeah, woohoo,
But it turns out they reneged on that promise. Westbridge High just had their prom there.
Westbridge.
I don't know. I just made that up on the top of my head. It's an actual
But yeah,
school.
that would be awesome to have to have your prom in a castle. Is that a real thing, or are you just?
I'm just thinking. I've never seen. I mean, I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure someone's rented Leeds Castle in Kent.
Yeah.
For their prom, I can see that happening. Not the whole castle, obviously,
right.
but a good part of it, and they can have their photos taken in the castle, and
yeah, that would be really, really cool.
That would be really cool for me to have my prom in a castle.
But we did not have a theme. I don't really remember having food even. Maybe we did.
Didn't? Yeah, there was food laid on at this place they went to. It was like, I can't remember. Someone helped me out where it was. I can't remember where it was in Swansea, but it was in Swansea, I think, that they had this place. And it was like a hall, and I think they laid out like a buffet-style food. Mm-hmm. I remember pictures being kind of posted on the website.
Yeah.
In the days afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like it was just like a school dance.
Yeah. I mean that is essentially
school disco,
all
mate, but a bit more fancy because everyone was more dressed up, instead of just in their slacks,
Mm-hmm. I think we hired a DJ. It's been so long ago now, guys. I can't really remember, but yeah.
Best night of my life was prom.
We must have had a DJ.
Yeah.
You can hire a live band, depending on if you have the money.
I didn't make prom king or queen, did I?
And then, okay, so for anybody out there who may not know what he's talking about when he's talking about prom king or queen, they crown... Why, I don't know.
Because, that's just something to do at there, instead of all the dancing.
Because you're all dressed up and it's like a ball,
yes.
I guess. So like let's have a king and a queen.
Yes. It's a debutante ball.
So earlier in the year at some point, well, this is the way my school did it. Earlier during the school year, at some point, they will hold, voting. And people can put their names up if they want to be king or queen, or maybe someone else had to nominate you. I can't really remember. But then, so you'll get, a list of several names. You go in and you pick a king, you pick a queen. There will also be what they call a court, and in the court will be all kinds of other things. So the stereotypical ones are most likely to succeed. Smartest, whatever, best dressed, all kinds of things like that. And then, people will vote on that. Sort of it's like an actual election, only you're just voting for these people. Yeah. You just vote for your friends, essentially, is all it is.
It says here it can be akin to that of a US president, the pre-election campaign,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and some schools, the pre-election campaign of a prom queen who's typically chosen on the night can be akin to that of a US president. It's like, vote for me as prom queen. I can deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
With financial and social support key to success. So if they got a load of money and a load of friends, it's they're going to be prom queen.
I don't know what the money has to do with it. You're giving people money to vote for
I'm sure. No, they're probably, we donated to this prom. We pretty much organized this prom.
Maybe.
So I deserve prom queen.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's the same sort of thing, I think. The organising committee can include teachers, but is often made up of the head boy or head girl, because we have head boy and head girl in our school and everything, as well as students volunteering to be part of the committee, and they'll make decisions on their prom, and it's just they'll decide, and it might be someone who's contributed to the school year in some way, or has been a model student, or is a prefect. It's nothing to do with campaign. There's no campaigning.
Yeah,
because it's not so much of a thing. Over here there's a lot of emphasis done on school.
Yeah.
School is the big thing, the school newspaper and everything. It's like a little city. You said that before. And of course, college football is so huge. And that's a school thing. It's not even professional. It's
high school football is huge in Texas.
Yeah. Well, in Texas, anyway, yeah. In Britain, not much is made of school. It's somewhere you go to learn, and that is about it.
Yeah.
That might be changing. I don't know. But, in the midst of this pandemic.
Or maybe that's just the way it was for you. Can you look at at it objectively.
No, I am looking at it objectively because, I mean, I've watched shows and stuff where, you know, it's just like, oh, you know, like people, you know, of course there's people who like, oh, school, you know, school's my life and but it's like, once you're out of it, you're out of it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, well, I mean, hopefully that's the way it is for everyone. You
yeah.
know? There is that kind of thing where they say, oh, yeah, you know, his best years were in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so stereotypically, the most popular person would get crowned prom king or queen.
Prom king, prom queen. I can't remember who was prom queen at mine. Oh, well, because I wasn't there, but, you know, I heard who, you know, I got all the gossip afterwards, you know. I think I remember who was prom king, but I remember my friend getting annoyed because he turned up late and then they gave it to him, you know. I think it was kind of like a thing on the night, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes you do vote there at the prom.
I was like, who do you think should be prom queen?
And you go and cast your little thing and then they'll just count it up, you know. I think at some schools do it like that, but we voted ahead of time.
Yeah, I think it's been a staple for my school ever since that, though. I think they still do prom every year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Obviously they have pictures and,
you
know, it's like, it's a big end of school party, basically. And then once the prom is over, then there'll be after parties.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody will have after parties at their houses or...
It's so funny. Gaps in wealth inequality mean that for some Americans, prom night is simply a dance in the school hall, while for others it is a precursor to a weekend at their parents' lake house with friends. It's like, we're all going to the lake house.
That's like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's what people, you know, like, that's what, like, British people want. They want to do it like it is in the movie. Yeah. But it's like, you can't replicate that, you know?
I can remember there was a lot of people get hotel rooms, and, you know, they'll have a big group of friends stay over in a hotel room, and
there's also, there's also the thing of, like, they try to stop drinking on prom night, you know, no underage drinking, and, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I can remember there was a party out in some woods somewhere after.
Some woods.
Yeah, after our prom. We all went back to, me and several friends got a hotel room together. Because, you know, it's like, oh, you don't want to go home after the prom because, oh, what a loser, you know? So,
I'd be exhausted, I tell you.
We all got a hotel room together. We went back there. We changed into, like, party clothes, you know, and then we're driving out to these woods. We were driving for absolute ever, and then one of my friends got a phone call. Oh, I wouldn't bother coming over here. The police just broke up the party. So it's just like, yeah. My prom night ended up just being like a womp. But apparently it was a good party if it hadn't taken us so long to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very, like, typical, too. You know, you have a big party after prom. It gets broken up by the cops for underage drinking or whatever, and you all get sent home anyway, you know.
And red Solo cups.
Red Solo cups, yeah.
Red Solo cups, yes. Yes, red Solo cups.
No,
yeah.
there's a new...
Let's take photos of this now.
There's a new tradition. I don't know if this came up in your research. This did not exist when I was in school. It's a fairly recent tradition. Yeah. Promposals. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah, I think I did see that.
Oh my god, now that is taking it too far.
It's not what it's like. Will you go to the prom with me? But in like a flash mob or
in like a very extravagant kind of way.
Someone skydiving.
Yeah, like what? And I'm using air quotes here. Like what women want when they get proposed marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. They want like him down on one knee. They want
the birds singing.
It written in the sky. Will you?
In the sky. The world stops for a minute.
They're doing that now to ask someone to go to prom.
Yeah.
They're like, will you go to prom with me? Written in the sky, or like
more money than sense, mate.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. If I had a kid, I would just be like, no. No. You can just, like, walk up to her and ask her. But it's the
walk
thing.
Up to her and ask her. Much cheaper.
Yeah. And if you don't get asked in an extravagant way, then, I don't know, I guess you're, like, a
a loser
or something.
I
Yeah, I have no idea.
But you're not a loser.
But, well, no, it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
No one loses.
Some girl, the amount of money that some girls can spend on a prom dress, a dress you're going to wear to a school dance. Yes. In the hundreds, in the low thousands. Yeah. You know, it's like you're not getting married. You're not going to ever wear
$50,000 on a dress.
Not a prom dress.
Probably.
Yeah,
because you're never going to wear it again, are you?
No.
It's like a wedding dress.
It's ridiculous because you know what? Guys can rent their tuxedos. Why don't they have like dresses you can rent? Why can't you rent a dress? Why do you have to buy it? You know.
Well, maybe women do.
Maybe they do.
And maybe they just don't say. They say, "Oh yes." It's still got the tags on it though. It's still got the tags. She rented that dress. It's still got the tags on it.
Yeah, but that is definitely a thing. No, what you wear is very important when you're in school. You know, and you're all like walking around the prom and like
checking each other
out, and yeah,
should wear a kilt.
The funny thing is, when I was younger, I always
do the
thought,
Highland charge.
Oh yes, I want to go to prom in a limo or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what
limos.
You want. So my friend, when I went to prom, my senior prom. He did get us a car. It was not like a stretch limo. It was just one of those. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it was a nice car. I wouldn't say it was like a Bentley, but I'm not sure.
Bentley.
Yeah.
Did he rent it?
Yeah, I think he had somebody who did that. You know, like in his family or something.
Somebody who did what?
Somebody who rented them, or somebody who.
Oh, like a show, like
something like that. I don't know.
Bentleys are good cars.
I could be totally wrong. It was a long time ago. But you know, before that, I was like, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want. And then when you do it, you pull up to the place you're having your prom, and everybody's inside. It's not like everybody's standing outside to see what you're arriving in.
No, I mean, that's what everybody's standing. Oh, they're coming. Oh, very nice car.
Yes.
Oh, now they're getting out.
Yeah. So that's
what people want, though.
That's a total waste of money.
They want it to be like a royal procession, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if I had a kid who was going to prom, I would just be like, you know, we're gonna get you We're gonna get you a secondhand dress. I'll do your hair.
Leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here.
I was not one of these girls who went and had my hair and my makeup and my nails and all of this done, because now they do that too. Oh, they've got to go get the spray tan. They've got to go like have a day at the spa. They've got to like have their hair and makeup and everything professionally done. My mom did all of it for me, and I was perfectly fine with that. I didn't feel cheated. I didn't feel like, oh, everybody's going to look better than me or anything. You know, it's just like, it was not that big a deal to me.
Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't big enough a deal for me because I didn't even bloody go, did I?
Let us know if you went to your prom.
Did you go to your prom?
What it was like. Did you have a theme? I really cannot remember my theme. I don't think we had a theme. I think it was just like our school colors. I think the decorations were just like our school. I don't even remember having that many decorations because, like I said, where we had our prom, it was quite decorative anyway.
Yeah.
I think when we got in there, we were like, oh, maybe we'll just have like some streamers in the doorway to come in and stuff, but you don't want to have like a bunch of crap everywhere, like messing up the walls and the ceiling and everything's quite ornate anyway. But, so yeah, I think that's probably why we didn't have a theme. But I know in movies they do those like underwater or, you know, space age.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what kind of
It's all crazy to me, mate. It's all crazy.
Roman times. I don't know.
Everyone in togas.
But let us know. Let us know if you went to your prom, if you had a theme, anything you can remember about your prom. Are you young enough to have had a promposal when you went to prom?
Yes.
Let us know that, because I want to know what that is all
about. Tell us all about your prom.
I want to know what your promposal was all about. Why did you have a promposal? I don't know. That's a new one for me to know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's about it.
I think prom is officially over.
Yeah. I mean, since it's a little bit difficult, isn't it? Because you didn't go to prom, so...
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I only heard about it.
You don't really know.
I got all the fun of the stories afterwards.
Okay, so here's another question then for our listeners. Anybody in
Do you think I should have gone to my prom?
Well, there you go. Anybody in Britain who did go to their prom, let us know how it was different from what we've described in this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys... What? I don't know what would be different about a British prom, but, did you eat fish and chips at your prom? I don't know.
I really don't. That would have been some prom. It's like, oh, well, you know what? We'll all order everybody in, like, ball gowns and stuff. Can you imagine a woman in a ball gown just freaking tucking into the freaking paper?
Maybe there's some school in,
greasy fingers.
Maybe there's some school in Brighton who has their prom on the beach.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
wind blowing everywhere, seagulls everywhere.
Nobody wears shoes. Everybody wears gowns and everything, but everybody comes with no shoes.
You're thinking of Brighton as like this tropical paradise.
Everybody comes with no shoes, and you're just eating fish and chips, and then you have like a dance out on the pier or something.
And fall off into the sea and ruin that dress that you rented.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think we're done.
I think we're done.
We're talking complete nonsense.
Talking complete and utter ball twaddle.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.